Hi, teacher. Good evening.
Hey guys, I'm sorry. So today we're going to be practicing the third question of the speaking section. So I want to make sure that everybody has the template. I'll show it to you once again, so that you can use it for today's practice class. Okay guys, so you could screenshot these, or if you have it, let me know.
Hi, teacher. Good evening. Yes, I already have it. Thank you.
What about you, Mateo?
Yes, teacher. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So without further ado then, let's start practicing. Remember, for this question, you get to read a short academic passage first. You get 45 seconds to do so. What you gotta do is pretty much copy the title, then copy the title, look for the definition of the text, and then listen to the lecture. We'll find real world examples of what you saw in the text. We did psychology yesterday, so maybe we can start with business, and we'll also see another biology. Okay, guys. So this is going to be the first question we do. Starting now, you have 45 seconds to read. Remember, copy the title, take notes on the definition.
Now listen to part of a lecture on this topic in a marketing class.
Nowadays, something you notice more and more is television commercials that are made specifically for certain television programs. So, let's say a company wants to sell a telephone, a cell phone. Now, during TV shows that young people watch, shows with pop music or teen serials, they create a commercial that emphasizes how fun the phone is. You know, the phone has bright colors and they show kids having a good time with their friends. And, well, the company wants the kids watching TV at this time to want to buy this phone that's made especially for them. But the same company will make a different commercial to be shown during, say, a program about business or a business news show. Now, for this group of people, business people, the company will have to show how efficient their phone is, how it can handle all business easily, and maybe even save money. And here's the thing. It's basically the same phone. The company has just made two different commercials to appeal to different groups of people.
Okay, guys, so it says, using the professor's examples, explain the advertising technique of target marketing. Now you guys have 30 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay. So maybe, who wants to go first? Anyone that wants to try this one? Does anyone want to try?
Yes, teacher, I can try, but please give me 10 seconds more, please.
Okay, sure.
Teacher, one question. Just to remember, in the listening in the lecture, the professor explains almost the same stuff that is on the passage, right?
Yes, it's the same topic, but the professor gives examples.
Yes, and those examples are the same ones as we can find in the passage.
I mean, you have the definition in the passage of the concept. You don't have any examples in the passage. And then the professor explains that definition with examples. The professor gives example that illustrates that definition. So it's not exactly the same because in the professor gives details, right? The professor talks about specific situation, but the
Yes.
reading in general ideas.
Okay.
You ready?
Okay, I have the example. I think I've heard a little bit of.
Okay. So you can start now.
Okay. According to the passage, target marketing is defined as market segmentation, in other few words. In the lecture, the professor gives examples. Teacher, can we please repeat just for this time last time?
Okay, sure, go ahead.
Okay. According to the passage, target marketing is defined as target segmentation, focusing and trying to get in the mind of potential customers. In the lecture, the professor gives the example of how to sell a phone, and he emphasized that in previous times, companies used to promote it on big media, but now companies are focusing on making more directed commercials for the people who are more interested.
Okay, good. So you were going good, but I think that you were taking too long on explaining certain things, or maybe it was a long introduction that you didn't have time to explain the most important part. Remember to always classify the information. So target marketing, it says, is basically the strategy of advertising to a smaller, very specific audiences. It's not a problem if you repeat what you have here. You don't necessarily have to paraphrase this. Because sometimes it's easier to just copy and then read it, and it's not going to take you more than 10 seconds. According to the reading passage, target marketing is the strategy of advertising to a specific audiences. And that's it. And then you explain what is related to this. So yes, you talked about a company that is trying to sell phones. So how does this company advertise to specific audiences? So explain that part, right? I think in the example, they talk about this company and they give two examples. They say, if the company wants to reach young people, then they are going to advertise it during TV, or they're going to create a commercial that will be shown during programs that young people watch. And the commercial will be trying to attract young people, right? So you will show fun colors and people having fun with it. They will be demonstrating a fun phone. Now, if they want to advertise the same phone in a different commercial, but for business people, then they will emphasize on the efficiency of the phone. They will make a commercial that shows how efficient the phone is, instead of showing how fun it looks. And they will show it during programs that business people watch, maybe like business programs. So that is how this company is advertising to specific audiences, right? The specific audience would be young people or business people, by doing a different commercial for each one of them, even though it's the same phone. So that will be the most important part from the listening, which is directly related to the concept we have of target marketing. Right? So the only thing I could say first, it's okay if you repeat the definition in the words of the text. You don't necessarily have to paraphrase it, because maybe that will take you some more time to prepare and to think about it to even say. And second, make sure that you classify better the information from the listening. Pay attention to the example that directly relates to the concept. Okay?
Yes. Yes, sure.
Okay,
Thanks.
okay.
I couldn't copy the small sentence about the definition of target marketing, so I tried to paraphrase on other words, but okay, great tip. Thank you.
Okay, for sure. So it was a good first try. Let's do another one. Let's try to do biology now. Okay, guys, so it will be the same. Starting now, you have 45 seconds to read this text.
Now listen to part of a lecture from a biology class.
There's a large tropical insect called the peanut bug. Yes, like the peanuts that you eat. And the peanut bug's front wings are colored so that they blend in with their surroundings. But its back wings, which are usually closed and hidden, have these bright, colorful spots on them. And when the peanut bug's attacked, it suddenly opens its back wings, and out pop these big, bright colors. And that surprises the predator and gives the peanut bug a chance to get away. And then you have a butterfly called the morpho butterfly. And parts of the morpho butterfly's wings are very shiny. They reflect a lot of sunlight. When this butterfly is resting, this shiny part of its wings is hidden. Now, morpho butterflies are often attacked by birds. So when a bird approaches, the morpho flies away. And when the morpho flaps its wings, all the bird can see are flashes of light reflected from the morpho's wings. Those flashes of light make it very difficult for the bird to follow the morpho, and the morpho is usually able to get away.
Using the examples from the peanut bug and the morpho butterfly, explain the concept of revealing coloration. Now you guys have 30 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay, guys. So who wants to try this one? Anyone? Maybe we can do it together. It says revealing coloration. What is the definition of revealing coloration?
A defensive strategy involving the use of coloration.
Exactly. It's a defensive strategy that animals use that involves the use of coloration. Now we have two examples. It says the peanut bug and the morpho butterfly. So let's start with the peanut bug. What does the peanut bug do? How does the peanut bug use coloration to defend itself from predators? Do you guys want me to play it again?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Now listen to part of a lecture from a biology class.
There's a large tropical insect called the peanut bug. Yes, like the peanuts that you eat. And the peanut bug's front wings are colored so that they blend in with their surroundings. But its back wings, which are usually closed and hidden, have these bright, colorful spots on them. And when the peanut bug's attacked, it suddenly opens its back wings, and out pop these big, bright colors. And that surprises the predator and gives the peanut bug a chance to get away. And then you have a butterfly called the morpho butterfly. And parts of the morpho butterfly's wings are very shiny. They reflect a lot of sunlight. When this butterfly is resting, this shiny part of its wings is hidden. Now, morpho butterflies are often attacked by birds. So when a bird approaches, the morpho flies away. And when the morpho flaps its wings, all the bird can see are flashes of light reflected from the morpho's wings. Those flashes of light make it very difficult for the bird to follow the morpho, and the morpho is usually able to get away.
Okay, guys. So I'll give you 30 more seconds to prepare your responses. Okay, guys. So is there anyone who would like to try?
Maybe I could do that, teacher. I could give my try.
Okay, Mateus, of course. Give it a try. So
Okay.
you can start now.
Okay. According to the passage revealing coloration, is defined as defended strategy of animals who possess this discoloration, usually in their wings. In the lecture, the professor gives the example of morpho butterflies, and he explains that they have shiny wings and they are often attacked from birds, and they have their strategy to defend themselves and be out of the predator range when they are in danger.
Okay, great. Really well done, Mateo. To be honest, this was a tough one. Usually biology, at least for me, tends to be a little bit harder. But you had the correct definition, and you explained one of the examples, right? The morpho butterfly. You were missing the other, the peanut butter. So the advice
Yeah.
that I can give you is go back to read your introduction. You took 30 seconds for your intro, when it should have been only 10. So make sure that you copy the definition, you write it down so that at the moment that you start speaking, you have it ready. Or maybe during this preparation time, you want to make sure that your introduction is ready so you have enough time to explain both.
Okay, teacher, and I'm sorry. I think I got some mistakes in my grammar, but I think I was a little nervous. But
Okay, yeah, to be nervous, no problem. There weren't too many mistakes in your grammar, to be honest. I think everything was pretty good. Even the tenses, you use the passive voice a lot. They are often attacked by birds. So it was good. The only thing I noticed, to be honest, was that you said defensive, I think, instead of defensive strategy. Right? But everything else I think was correct in terms of the grammar.
okay, teacher, thanks.
Okay, guys. Let's do another one. Maybe we can go back to. Okay, guys.
Now listen to part of a lecture on this topic in a business management class.
So let me tell you about my own experience with this when I was working for a computer company a couple of years ago. So one day a coworker and I suggested we should give our computers a design makeover, make them look more up to date. Market research was showing that new customers said they would be more interested in buying our computers if they looked cooler. Our technology was advanced, but the outside design looked really old-fashioned. At first, more than half the group supported us. There were a few senior managers there, though, who didn't support the design change. One of the senior managers said, "Our focus has always been on technology. Changing the look is an unnecessary cost." Almost immediately, some of our supporters changed their minds. Even my coworker changed his mind. When I asked him why after the meeting, he told me he didn't want to make a bad impression on the senior managers. He thought that disagreeing with them might jeopardize his chances of getting a promotion by not looking like a team player. What about me? I hate to admit it, but after a few hours of discussion, I started wondering if it was worth everyone's time to argue about this. As more people sided with senior management, I started to feel like I was the only one holding up the vote. Everyone else seemed to think change wasn't necessary, so I voted against my own idea in the end. So we unanimously decided to stay with the current old-looking design. But this decision ended up costing us a lot of money. That same year, our competitor came out with a new design that attracted some of our customers and prevented us from profiting on potential new customers.
Okay, guys, explain groupthink and its effects using the example of the computer company. Now you'll have 30 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay. So maybe Fernando, do you want to try this one?
Okay, teacher.
Okay, Fernando, great. Go ahead, please.
Okay, a groupthink is a methodology to try to design some ideas or okay. Can I start again, teacher?
Okay, sorry for these ones, but remember, in the beginning, you need to use the definition from the reading, right? I think you're mixing it up with listening now. Use the definition that okay. Go again.
I didn't take notes, teacher. I don't remember the definition of the reading.
I think you were in yesterday's class, were you? You have to say, according to the reading, groupthink is, and then you tell me the definition.
Okay, according to the
Right.
according to the paragraph, groupthink is one process where individuals make some irrational choices. For example, the professor explained that when he was working some years ago, there were a new product to launch to the market, and they make a group think to explain why the product must have a new design instead of full technology.
Okay, good. But, well, first of all, don't forget to use the template, like to transition from the reading to the listening. Sure, the professor gives the example of his own experience. And then go directly to the most important part to save time. What is the most important part of the example? What do you say? What is the most important part of the example?
The impact of their decisions made with the groupthink conclusions.
Yes, exactly. Not necessarily the impact, but the fact that this group made an irrational decision because everybody was following the others, right? Everybody was following each other and they made a bad decision, didn't think for themselves. So in this case, careful, you need to save time and you need to be able to summarize a little bit more, right? It was about a computer company, the professor says. His co-worker wanted to change the design, but the other members of the group, the senior managers, didn't agree. So everybody started following them and changing their minds and voting against the design makeover. Even the professor ended up voting against his own idea because he was trying to follow the group. And as a group, they made a bad decision because that cost them a lot of money. They lost a lot of consumers and they lost it to the competition, I think. So it was a bad decision that they made in a group because everybody was just following the senior managers. Okay. So try to always summarize the information a little bit more. This goes for everybody.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, guys, let's do another one. Okay, we've done business, psychology, biology. Let's try to do something different now. We're going to be doing art. It's exactly the same. Everything works in the same way, but it's going to be about art. Really rare, really uncommon, but I think it's important to practice as well. So, as usual, you have 45 seconds now to read this text.
Now listen to part of a lecture in an art history class.
All right, so let's consider the work of the outsider artist Henry Darger. Darger lived by himself in a tiny apartment in Chicago in the 1900s. He had no friends and spent all his spare time there alone, creating hundreds of paintings and drawings. He had never formally studied art and kept his work completely private, so no one ever saw it or responded to it during his lifetime. And so when you see Darger's work, you notice how unique it is. It doesn't remind you of anything you've ever seen before. It's very much his own. For example, one piece, it's a watercolor painting. In this piece, he illustrates a story about the adventures of 7 children. But see, Darger had a really hard time drawing human figures, yet he managed to come up with his own rather unique solution for the problem. He simply cut out pictures of children from newspapers and magazines and pasted them into his own painted illustration of trees, flowers, and grass. The results look a little strange. Darger's picture looks more cluttered, more crowded with details than the pictures of other artists, because its entire surface is painted and there are no spaces left empty. It's also a lot longer than the pictures of most other artists, about 9 feet long.
Okay, so explain why Henry Darger is considered as an outsider artist. Now you will have 30 seconds to prepare your responses.
Teacher, could you please go back for 1 second to the passage?
Okay, that is technically not allowed, but
Yes. But if we do a presential test, isn't it going to be on our page, on our field?
no, the TOEFL test is always, you guys are going to take the TOEFL IBT test. So that means it's internet-based. If you go to take it in a test center, then you'll take it on a computer of the test center.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be exactly like the video that I showed you yesterday.
Yes.
Exactly like that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So who wants to try?
I can try.
Great. Go ahead, please.
Okay, according to this passage, outsider art is defined as a term used to describe people who choose to live outside and remote. In the lecture, the professor gives the example of Henry Darger, an artist from Chicago, and explaining that he never studied and learned some techniques of other artists, professional artists have learned, but he created some interesting things, and for example, cutting some pictures from some magazines, and I didn't understand that much the example about his art, this kind of art, but
Saying is correct.
here we go. Yeah, I'm trying to improve.
Okay, it was good. It was not bad, actually. Yes, you needed some more time, maybe because you were thinking too much, you were overthinking perhaps everything that you were going to say, step by step. So careful there. If you understand better, then you probably won't have that problem. It was good you had the correct definition. Outside art is art made by people who live outside of society and who have very rare or unique art. And Henry Darger was one of these people. And as you said, he chose to live excluded from society. He had no contacts. He didn't study art formally, but he was an artist. And he created this painting that you were talking about, where, as you said, he didn't know how to draw human figures. So he cut images from a magazine and pasted it in the canvas. And the painting looks really strange because it's filled with details. It's something that you wouldn't really see in another artist. And that's why he's an outsider artist. Right, so you were just missing, I'd say, some more time, or maybe you want to summarize your introduction a little bit, go faster with your introduction, prepare your intro during those 30 seconds, make sure that you have it ready to go so that once the timer starts, you are able to say it in even less than 10 seconds. And that way you'll have plenty of time to explain better the details of the exam. Your grammar was really good. I noticed that you were struggling a little bit with the tenses, but you were able to correct yourself. So he created. The important thing is always not to mix tenses. So you can use simple present in the entire response if you want, or if you are just referring to the past, you can use simple past, but you cannot mix tenses. But it was good, I'd say. You were just needing to summarize a little bit more.
Okay, thanks for the information, teacher. Don't mix past and present continuous, for example.
Exactly, not necessarily past and present continuous. I mean, not necessarily tenses, but past and present. For example, we tell stories, and this is something that you're going to see not only in this case, but in other ones. Let's say the example of the professor and the computer company. So when you tell a story from the past, you can say everything in the simple past, you know? So the professor was working, so it's past continuous, but it's past, was working in a computer company. He had an idea of changing the design of the computers. He presented this idea in a meeting. The senior managers didn't agree. He changed his own mind. He voted against his own idea. He followed the group, and it was a bad decision because it cost a lot of money. Everything in past. Or you can do the same in the simple present. So the professor gives the example of when he is working in a computer company. He has an idea of changing the design of the computer. He presents the idea to the board, and the other members don't agree. Right? So everything simple present or everything past. But the important thing is not to mix, not to be like, so the professor talked about when he was working in a computer company, he has an idea and he wanted to change the design. That is where you have a problem. Okay? When you mix present with past, it's always present or always past.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you,
Okay.
teacher.
Of course. Any questions before we continue? Okay. Let's do this one here now. This is sociobiology, actually, but let's. You'll have 45 seconds to read the text.
Now listen to part of a lecture in a biology class.
Okay, so a good example of this, found right here in North America, is something an animal called the American pronghorn does. Pronghorns, as you may know, are a kind of deer-like animal. They live out on the open, grassy plains, somewhat in the middle of North America. And they are super fast. Pronghorns are, in fact, noted for being the fastest animal in the Western Hemisphere. Once a pronghorn starts running, zoom! None of its present-day predators, like the bobcat or coyote, can even hope to catch up with it. It's off in a flash. Okay, so why then do pronghorns run so fast? That's the question. Well, it turns out that quite a long time ago, I'm talking tens of thousands of years, things on the grassy plains used to be very different for the pronghorns. Because back then, lions used to live on the plains, chasing and preying upon the pronghorns. And lions, of course, are a very swift-moving mammal, much faster than the bobcat or coyote or other predators that you find on the plains today. But now, however, lions are all extinct in North America. They're no longer a predator of the pronghorn. Tens of thousands of years ago, though, the lions were there, chasing the pronghorns. So, back then, the pronghorn's speed was critical to its survival.
Now, using the example of the pronghorn and lion, explain the concept of a relict behavior. Now you guys will have 30 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay, so who wants to go with this one? Anyone? Does anyone want to try? It says that relic behavior is, what's the definition of relic behavior?
Is a way to help animals to survive within their specific habitats.
No, not necessarily. Relic behavior is a behavior that an animal has that had a purpose that no longer serves a clear purpose. It says that the original purpose of this behavior may have disappeared long ago, right? It was useful to the animal when the species habitat was different, but now it's not of any use. So relic behavior is a behavior in an animal that doesn't have a clear purpose. The purpose was disappeared a long time ago. And in the lecture, they talk about pronghorns, and they talk about one specific thing that pronghorns do. What do they do? What is the behavior they talk about in the lecture? What do they do?
Pronghorns behavior to us as the fastest animal in their time. Maybe?
Pronghorns speed, right? They talk about how fast pronghorns are. They talk about their speed. Basically, what they say is that, well, pronghorns are now very fast They are the fastest animal in the Western Hemisphere. And the professor says, but why are they so fast? Because it's not really useful for them being so fast. They are faster than their attackers, than their predators. So it doesn't make any sense that they are that fast. And the professor explains that the reason why they are so fast is because in the past, like thousands of years ago, lions used to live in the same habitat. Lions used to live there as well in North America. And lions used to chase upon the pronghorns. So lions were the predators of the pronghorns in a way. And that is why they needed to be so fast, because lions are fast and they needed to escape from lions. And they developed that speed. But after a few years, lions became extinct. Lions are no longer living in North America, but pronghorns are still the same. They still have the same speed. They are still that fast, even though they don't need to be fast anymore, which is exactly what we have in the text, right? It's the way that pronghorns display this behavior that no longer serves a purpose. They don't have to be this fast anymore. The original purpose, escaping lions, disappeared long ago because of changed conditions, right? Because there are no longer lions in the habitat. They no longer serve its original purpose. Okay? Is it better? Do you guys see the connection between the reading and the listening?
Yes, teacher.
Do you want to try? Does anyone want to try with that information? Walter, maybe do you want to try, or somebody else?
I wrote that I realized the connection between the passage and the listening. I don't feel like I will be able to
Explain it.
do the template as well.
But basically, no one wants to try? Okay, maybe I can try. Okay, guys, so let's see if I can make it on time, because it is a little bit long to explain, but let's see. So according to the reading passage, relic behavior is the behavior in an animal that no longer serves a clear purpose. In the lecture, the professor gives the example of pronghorns and lions. He explains that pronghorns are known to be the fastest animal in the Western Hemisphere, and there's no reason for them to be that fast. They are faster than all of their predators. So why are pronghorns so fast? The professor explains that thousands of years ago, lions used to live in the same area and they used to chase pronghorns, which is why they needed to be so fast. However, some years after that, lions became extinct in that part of the world. As a result, pronghorns no longer need to be that fast, and this behavior is only a remain they have from their past habitat, from the conditions of their past. Okay, so don't focus too much on the details, focus on the general information, and and if you see how I try to connect the information, I am trying to mix the ideas, right, from listening and reading, focusing only on what matters. So how is it that this behavior is a relic behavior? Why is it a relic behavior? Because the purpose of the behavior, the original purpose, is no longer there. It disappeared. And they don't have to be fast anymore, but they are still fast because it's a remnant of their past. Okay, guys? So you guys need to practice. I don't know why, but I think none of you guys are booking your speaking sessions. So that is useful for practicing. If you don't have time, or if for another reason you're not able to have those speaking sessions, it's okay, but I really recommend that you try to practice as well. Practice using the software that we have. You'll find there a lot of questions to practice, and they are actually past questions from the TOEFL test. So make sure that you practice, you record yourselves, and you try to evaluate with yourself.
Teacher, I've got a question about the sessions, those sessions of 15 minutes, all right?
Mhm.
Can we book those sessions for a weekend?
No, it's only during the week.
Okay. Mhm. And what about the schedule from 8 a.m., for example, to this time? So?
No, I think it's right after, well, not after class. It should be starting 9 p.m.
Okay.
It's late at night.
Okay, starting at 9. 1 hour after the end of this class.
Yes, exactly.
Oh.
I right now not having any other classes because I used to have classes 7 to 8 and then 8 to 9 as well. And that's why we had the sessions starting from 9. So I'll probably talk to the coordinator maybe for this week. She can change the schedule starting at 8. Maybe that'll be more convenient for you guys as well. So it's probably going to be starting at 8 from now on.
Actually, starting at 9 works to me. I
Okay,
will
good.
do a
Try to
couple
book.
of sessions. Thank you.
Okay, guys. So any other questions? Okay, guys. In that case, please don't forget today's daily survey. It should be on your screens. And I will see you guys on Tuesday, actually, right? I'll see you guys on Tuesday. So I hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you. Have a great weekend too, teacher. Take
Bye.
care. Goodbye.
Goodbye, teacher. Take care.
Thank you, teacher.